We've got the Battersea banger, Denzel Bentley, in the house. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks. How you doing?
Yeah, great stuff. We've got to go back a little bit to talk about your last fight. Yeah. It was at Wembley Arena, or the SSE Arena, Wembley. Yeah. And I think I'm right in saying, without going into the other side of things, I mean, it was quite a chaotic evening right from the start. I seem to remember, first of all, I think you were going to be early on, then you ended up as the float, and now I'm told, but the opponent wasn't even there for a lot of the time.
Yeah, that was actually the one at Royal Albert Hall. I was meant to be on second, and then I ended up being a float. Then I ended up finding out that my opponent hadn't even arrived yet, so all of that stuff I couldn't really weigh in until after, till he got there and stuff. Then I ended up fighting after the main event, but luckily I got a good support base and stuff, so they all stayed to watch me. It's echoey in there, so it sounded like it was still full, so I was alright.
Yeah, my mistake there. So moving on to the Wembley fight, there were some circumstances behind the fight, which, I mean, you can explain to us, but obviously it was obviously a deeply personal matter, but you didn't make any excuses and you went ahead with the fight anyway. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, my granddad passed away the day before, so the day of the weigh-in, my granddad passed away, may he rest in peace. So I got in there the next day, I just kind of pushed it to the back of my mind kind of thing, so I just pushed it to the back of my mind, got on with the fight. Then as soon as everything was done, I got to go back and start grieving and stuff, so we went back to Ghana to bury him, had a nice send-off for him, so a good funeral, yeah, so I'm pleased with everything.
Now, your granddad was in Ghana at the time, just on holiday. You told me he's 84 years old and came over to Europe when he was about 20, so he'd been a long stint. But I'd imagine, had he been in the UK at the time, it probably would have been a lot harder for you to push it to the back of your mind and go ahead with the fight. Yeah,
100%, because I would have been seeing him more often and probably would have just seen him not long, because he always used to look for us, he always used to check us. So you come round a bit, cut his hair, then we come upstairs to come and check us before he leaves out. So he was always involved with our lives and stuff. But yeah, he was in Ghana, so it was like, not like you don't feel it, but because he was in Ghana, you're kind of like, wow, is that what's happening over there?
He's a bit more detached from it,
yeah, exactly, yeah. But he was meant to come back that month. He passed away, but he just didn't recover. So, but we had to carry on with stuff. So boxing's kind of a tough sport because you can't really get away from things like that. Like maybe if you're in a team sport, you'd be like, I'm not right now, so just make someone else replace me. So, but in boxing, especially a day before, you just kind of got to get on with the job, kind of thing. So,
looking back, did it have an effect on your performance?
Not really, because when I'm fighting kind of thing. But like an effect on my mood, yeah. How I went into the fight, maybe. But in the fight, I wasn't really thinking about anything else other than the fight kind of thing. So that's not an excuse to why I performed the way I did or anything. So yeah.
And obviously, it's sort of the circumstances have kind of delayed you a little bit, because you had an awful situation where there was like a 3-month gap between your grandfather passing away and actually being able to have the funeral, and that's a difficult long period to deal with, and obviously put you out of contention for any fights as well.
Yeah. It was a long gap. So he passed in April. We never got to do the funeral till June. But it's just because like it was so sudden. It's not like he was ill and passing away. It was so sudden, happened suddenly, and people that were over here had to get their stuff ready, prepared to go over there to get ready for the funeral in order for him to have the best send-off we can give him. So it took a bit of time. Got it done in the end, but that's probably stalled me a bit with fighting and stuff. Like being in the gym, I was here, but I weren't really here mentally. Like the trainers could see that kind of thing. I'm just going with the flow. I'm waiting to just fly over and get everything done with. So that's done now. Back in the gym now. My mind's strict. My mind's straight back on training, and I'm ready to put in another performance in September.
Just sorry, I missed out something. Going back to it, is your father considered not telling you, didn't he? But obviously he realised that in this day and age of communications from all different avenues, he didn't think that was realistic.
Yeah, so he told my mum early that morning, and he didn't want to tell me. But then I get up early when I'm training or when it's like fight week, I just get excited. So I'm up and down, I've showered, got ready, gone to my mum's room, and she's like, come. Why? What's up? So, you're right. Yeah, like I need to go. I've got to go to the gym. So, your dad just called in the morning. Like, your granddad's passed away. I'm like, what do you mean? He's passed away. How? Like, what happened? He wasn't sick. Like, was he sick? No one told me he was sick. He's like, no, he fell over. He was in hospital for a couple of weeks and he passed away. I'm like, nah, there's no way, kind of thing. And he's like, yeah, but your dad didn't want to tell you because he knows you're fighting. He just wants you to focus on the fight. But then he realised that, obviously, with social media and stuff, one of my cousins would have put it up on maybe Snapchat, and that would have been worse to find out through there. So he gave me a call later that day, and obviously he spoke to me and stuff. But yeah, so.
And he had a great send-off over there.
Yeah, he had a beautiful send-off. It was over 3 days. He had a great send-off. I'm happy with the way he was sent off. That's sat well with me. I'm happy I went over there as well to help send him off. So it was good.
And now you can fully focus everything towards the Royal Albert Hall, Friday, April 27th. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you are, well, so we're hearing, fighting a guy from the Midlands called Kelsey Ball.
Yeah. Kelsey Ball, that's where I'm fighting. Hopefully that's who I end up fighting. It doesn't change again. But I'm looking forward to that one. He's got a good record. So that's a step up for me. That's something for me to mentally look forward to. I'm always in them training anyway, so physically I'm in the best shape every time I step in the ring. But mentally sometimes it's like, okay, I know I'm fighting someone. Maybe you might just test, okay, this guy don't get stopped off and let's see if I can stop him. Things like that to challenge myself. But with this fight, it's just about winning, getting pushed up in the rankings and start taking 50-50 fights now. So that's a good opponent.
The interesting thing is, like, even if you don't rate somebody particularly highly, the fact someone's got a good record means it affects the way other people look at it, doesn't it? And like, people look at it and say, oh, he's fighting a good fight there, and it does wonders for your rankings all the time. Whereas it doesn't necessarily mean that you really rate him, does it?
Yeah, no, exactly that. It doesn't necessarily mean you rate him or you don't rate him, or me personally rate him, or whether I do or not rate him, but it looks good to everyone else that, oh, he's finally getting someone with a winning record. But the person I fought with a losing record could have been better than him. He's just had a easier ride to where he is, kind of thing. But it looks good, so that's good. So now when I put on a performance, there'll be no excuses about, oh, but you ain't fighting you haven't fought no one with a winning record, because now I have, and I'll show you what I can do with guys with these records. I'll do the exact same thing I do to everyone else.
I think he's only had one defeat, Kelsey, and you told me you have had a quick look just to say, let's see what he's all about. So you can now tell us what he's all about.
He's just he's basic. He's a fighter. Like, he's someone that boxes. I don't really see anything special with him. I don't think he's a bad fighter, but I don't see anything that stands out. He just does everything that he's probably been taught, kind of thing. There's nothing like, when I watched him, I didn't see no power like, oh, he can hit, or oh, he does this well, he does that well. He just knows how to box, kind of thing. But yeah.
The middleweight scene in this country is quite interesting at the moment. Now, I think I've maybe got this right. The British champion, Liam Williams, the English champion, Jack Cullen, I think the Southern Area champion, I think I'm right in saying, is Brad Pauls. Have I got all that right?
Yeah, you got that right.
Would you like to start working through those gentlemen?
I've been waiting to work through them from the first year I turned pro, but there's situations that happen, and you can't force people to fight. And me being me in the stage I am at now, there probably isn't any reward fighting me. It just like it doesn't help them. They're champions, I'm not. I'm coming up, so it's easier to just like not avoid, but just not consider me, kind of thing. But when I do get my hands on a title, a lot more fights will come through. A lot more people will be trying to say my name, and we'll be able to get to work.
Do you think probably the moment you become mandatory or get nominated by the board, or Southern Area, for instance, for one of those fights, is the moment they vacate?
Yeah, but that still doesn't mean I'll fight, because to the best of my knowledge, I've been mandatory for Southern Area before, so I've been told, but couldn't get hold of anyone to fight, and probably the board wouldn't allow certain opponents to fight because of like their records and stuff. So we had to skip that. So we're moving on and looking at other things that are available instead.
Do you think probably that you might end up, because of the way you are, having to bypass Southern Area and maybe jump straight into English?
Probably. That's the way that's the way things look like they're going. But I don't mind that. English level is just a touch above Southern Area, so it gives me a challenge as well. So mentally, I'll be up for it. So that'd be good.
Probably with the exception of Liam, he's a little bit older. I mean, these guys, you're all pretty much around the same age. I mean, what do you make of Brad Pauls, Jack Cullen? We'll add Felix Cash to that pool as well.
Good fighters. Yeah, apart from Liam Williams, I think the division's wide open. Like, Liam Williams isn't really a middleweight unless he wants to stay there. But if he goes back down, it's wide open. I look at the rankings every day and I just think everyone on that list above me, I can beat. Like, that's just me believing in myself, kind of thing. So I feel like I can beat them. I feel like these guys are all good fighters. There'll be good names to get on my record, and there'll be good names to have on my record moving forward. So I'll have fighters that I've fought in 50-50 fights, people that could potentially be British champions, world champions in the future, you never know. And I would have dealt with them and then move on. So that's more experience for me, better names for me, and then hopefully move up in the rankings.
I was playing a little game of fantasy boxing in my head a few months ago, or a couple of months ago, and just a fight that really clicked for me was Denzel, obviously yourself, against Mark Heffron. Now, it's a fight, the thought of which sort of sends a bit of a shudder through me, you know, but how would you fancy that?
That's a good fight. I'd love that fight.
With a title on the line.
I'd love that fight. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. I like that fight. I'm all for that.
I rate Mark highly. I think he's a top lad who gets it. He entertains the public. He's got a great fan base. He sells loads of tickets. So he does everything you'd want from him. Yeah. And you're a fighter that's come in with the attitude of you don't want to mess around. You want to get into deep waters quickly. Yeah. So what's not to like about that fight?
Exactly. Yeah, I think it would be a great fight as well. I think if we was to fight, no matter what stage it's at, we'll put on a great performance for everyone that's watching. And I feel like it will test us both. Like whoever comes out on top gets to move forward, and whoever doesn't just takes a step back and rebuilds. So it's a good fight. It's a good fight for both of us. Where he's a few levels above me. He's ready for British fights now. But for me, for example, like if I got called for that fight now, I'd take it. Me personally, I'd take it right now. But I feel like I'll be ready for them British title fights early next year at most. That's just how I feel.
Can you see the Heffron fight happening maybe sort of back end of this year, early next?
100%. Like, there's no reason why it couldn't happen. But both are frank, unless like my team say no.
Which they wouldn't.
Which they wouldn't exactly. Or his team say no. But that's the fight I see happening. That's the fight I look forward to happening because we're both in the same division. I feel like I'm going to get to the top 5 by early next year or the end of this year, depending. I keep fighting these opponents, and so as long as the promoters and the people on that side are happy with the fight, they'll make it happen, and I'll accept it all day long.